we go into another midweek double-header. Delhi is going to be a busy place because they've just started wrapping things up and mopping up after the end of this game, and they've got to be ready for an afternoon start. An afternoon game in Delhi. That's going to be Mumbai against Rajasthan, match number 24. We'll discuss that, and then we'll tell you what is coming up at night from Ahmedabad. Joy, again, we're talking about not necessarily contrasting points in the table, but a confident Mumbai side and a Rajasthan side desperately clinging on for dear life.
I wouldn't say it's a confident Mumbai side because they've had a few. Mumbai's used to slow starts, but they never like being 2-3. Being in that situation is something that they will not enjoy. And they lost at least a couple of games that they thought they should have won. And I say that this Mumbai side is also looking at themselves and saying that, you know what, the way we lost to Punjab, especially the way they lost, they look at themselves and say that, you know what, I think we need to deliver what is a convincing performance out here. So I think Mumbai also has something there. And I think the way Rajasthan's going to come is Rajasthan's got 4 international players. They're literally out with a begging bowl saying, if you can loan us players, they're in that kind of shape. But that, sometimes really works in your favor. There's no pressure on them. Nobody is going to say anything to them. 4 international players, most of their top players injured. They've come in here. Their young captain, rookie captain in that sense, just starting this year in the IPL, they will give it their best shot and walk off. So the pressure is on Mumbai, and that's the situation that they're not used to.
Make very valid point about the Punjab. That Punjab defeat, that should have been 2 points for Mumbai. If you're a champion side, you're 2-time in a row, you won the tournament 5 out of 8. That Punjab result, especially the manner in which they played that Punjab game, would hurt. I still think, let's see if it's the same surface. It's an afternoon game. If the ball does stop a little in an afternoon game, then Rajasthan are in business because they've got Sakaria, they've got Unadkat, they've got Mustafiz. They have those kind of players to play on that surface. If it's a nice, good surface, then I think Mumbai will quite enjoy that. But it's absolutely imperative. You saw that points table. On that points table, Mumbai need to make it 3-3. Because the moment they make it 2-4, now they're jostling with a Kolkata. They make it 3-3, then they've got a couple of strides ahead of Kolkata. And then teams like Rajasthan, we will have lost one more. Teams like Rajasthan and Hyderabad will start feeling the heat and the distance even more. So very important game, this in the middle of the tournament for Mumbai.
Yeah, certainly is. I think, probably not the right choice of words when I built up to the game saying confident Mumbai side. You somehow just tend to think of them as, even if they've lost a few early in the tournament, there's nothing that can possibly go wrong. We're going to get there. How we'll get there, we'll figure out, but we're okay. But I guess the points table doesn't quite reflect that. Let's look at the teams. What could Mumbai possibly do? Again, one of the teams who don't make changes. They don't need to make too many changes other than tactical ones. So quick look at this champion squad. The only one change that they had in the last couple of games was the introduction of Jayant Yadav, who came in. We've seen Adam Milne playing early on in the tournament. Marco Jansen very early in the tournament, but you could see that, it was a bit of an experiment. Harsha, your take on possible changes because of a new venue?
I'm just thinking Rajasthan, Butler, big hitter if he gets in. Samson, big hitter if he gets in. 2 right-hander big hitters. Do they still want Jayant? I know Jayant Yadav has played well for them when it's been asked of him, but whether they want to play Jayant Yadav or bring back an overseas quick, either Jansen or Milne, bring back an overseas quick. So my gut feel is they might do that in Mumbai, in Delhi, depending on the surface. If they think there's a little bit in the surface, they'll get back an overseas quick. But I think they've now reached a stage where they want Quinton de Kock and Ishan Kishan to start playing freely and putting the runs on board, because both of them have struggled in this year's tournament. So for Mumbai, it's clear. Get Quinton de Kock in form, get Ishan Kishan in form, get a win that says, you know what, we are Mumbai, we are the team everyone's supposed to be worried about. Every single person said Mumbai was the favourites going into the tournament. Let's go and deliver a performance worthy of being favourites.
For someone of the class of a Quinton de Kock, for someone of the free-spirited nature of an Ishan Kishan, what's the kind of thing you'd expect, Joy, that may be nudged to them in that change room?
I think, again, they have a very calm changing room. I mean, you cannot find calmer people than Shane Bond, Mahela Jayawardene, Zahir Khan. So they just said, go just go and do your processes, Rohit Sharma, just do your processes, be calm, be cool. It's going to come. It will come. It's going to come. Just feel it. Feel good about it. It'll happen. And I completely concur with Harsha. This is not a ground on which they play Jayant Yadav. Secondly, if your opponents have a lot of Indian domestic batsmen in their middle order, whether it's a Samson or whether it's somebody like Riyan Parag or Tewatia, they would fancy somebody like a Jayant Yadav. They'd say fancy their chances. They wouldn't fancy an Adam Mill that much as they would fancy somebody like a Jayant Yadav.
Or a Marco Jansen.
Yeah, either of these guys, I think, will be more of a handful. Marco Jansen may be interesting because the kind of bounce he gets. But remember, that kind of bounce in Delhi gives you a lot of top-edge sixes. Delhi is again one of those small grounds. Top edge, it just flies off. So, Milne or Marco Jansen, definitely. I can't see any other changes in their batting order because everyone else is an essential who needs to get going. May have not got going as yet, but they're not going to do any changes for that right now.
I mean, the one only reason to play Jayant Yadav could be David Miller and Shivam Dube. But Rajasthan desperately need to move beyond Butler and Samson, or Jaiswal's also left-hander, because Dube, Miller, Tewatia, Parag, they're not inspiring fear yet in the opposition. So they've got to be careful over there Rajasthan. I mean, I've no doubt in my mind Mumbai start favourites, but if Rajasthan upset them, wow, the rest of the teams will be going, yes, Rajasthan, yes, we'll loan you as many players as you want, just get past Mumbai.
Yeah, I think from a tournament perspective, it'll do a lot for that middle of the table and open things up. But just to go back to that, I think one of the big pluses, Joy, for Rajasthan, with all the losses they've had, all the problems they've had, is Yashasvi Jaiswal. Even though it was a brief stay, at least they've seen that, okay, fine, they can separate Butler and Samson, get somebody who can just throw open the bowling. And now, then they have obviously the problems of no overseas players to choose from.
Yeah, but sometimes those situations actually work for you because you know that your back's to the wall, there's nowhere to go. So the only way is forward. And I think Yashasvi is a player who again gives them something. It's like what we didn't see from Virat Singh, but we've seen from Ruturaj, that you've seen somewhere there that they belong at this level. And I think they play a couple of strokes and they belong at this level. They can dominate bowling at this level. They may not every day, but on their day, they might be able to do it. And I think Yashasvi's done enough to show that. I think they have to bat. They have to be the guys who are like, you know what? If all the other 6 teams are backing us, because they are. Everyone else would love to see Mumbai trip over, lose confidence. And if somehow Mumbai can't make it to the playoffs, the other teams would be, visiting every temple in the vicinity. But that's what it is. So everyone else is backing them. They need to go and get just one big, strong hit at it and see where they get.